Hi yogis, welcome to your 60-minute Vinyasa class with me, Amelia. We're going to be in today in Shavasana, or if easy seated pose is better for you, you can take that option if you'd like. Whether in easy seated pose or Shavasana, maybe gently closing your eyes. Allowing your muscles to relax, your body to become heavy. Feeling the spaces on your body that are supported by the earth underneath you. Maybe allowing yourself to relax, release a little bit of tension. Traveling your awareness from the external world, the outside, to the internal state. Noticing how your body is feeling today, your energy, anything that feels really important coming up, just taking note. No judgment, just observing. Inhaling deeply through the nose, and on the exhale, sighing it out through the mouth. Allowing your shoulders to melt away from your ears, bringing a softness to the face. Taking a moment here to think about what you might need for the practice, maybe even the day ahead. Maybe that is some loving kindness, some compassion. Maybe you want to move with curiosity and playfulness today. On the inhale, imagine breathing that essence into your body. And on the exhale, releasing anything that might stand in the way of that intention. Bringing your awareness to your breath. On the inhale, tracing the air in through the nose as it enters into your throat, down into your lungs. Expanding the ribs, maybe even gently pressing into the belly. And on your exhale, releasing that air the same way that it came in, just as softly, just as slowly. Continuing with this cycle of breath. Each cycle becoming a little bit more expansive, but still sustainable, no forcing, no effort. Our pranayama energy is the energy that guides us not only through our practice, but through our days as well. In our Vinyasa flow class, we link our breath with our movements. So keeping that in mind, our practice might not look or feel the same as anybody else's. You might need to move faster or slower than the cues I offer. So honoring the rhythms of your body, moving in ways that feel healthy and happy. Knowing that you can take rests and water breaks and modifications whenever you need. Let's take one more breath here. And release, let it go. Inviting some gentle movement back into the body. Maybe that is wiggling the fingers and toes. Rolling your head from side to side. Making movements a little larger, maybe rolling through the ankles and the wrists. Gently beginning to flutter the eyes open if they are closed. If you are lying down, inhale, reaching arms overhead, extending fingertips and toes in opposite direction, lengthening through the spine. If you're seated, reaching arms overhead. Exhale, release. Bending your knees and bringing them up into your chest. Thighs hug into belly, hands on shins. Rocking from side to side might feel good here, massaging the low spine into the mat. Soles of the feet on the ground, right arm reaching overhead, rolling over onto your favorite side. Curling up into the fetal position. Knees hugging up into your chest. Ear resting on your bicep. Pressing your palm into the mat and making your way up into a tabletop position. Wrists are under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's bring some energy into the spine. On the inhale, belly dips to mat, leading with your heart, gazing to the sky. Sit bones reaching back and behind. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin tucks to chest, crown to the ground. Inhale, leading with the heart, gazing to the sky. And exhale, tucking the tailbone, chin to chest. Let's go one more with your own speed, your own cycle of breath. Really exaggerating the movements. Inhale, coming back to a neutral tabletop. Bring knees a little wider, almost mat width, untucking toes, sinking your hips back and down on top of your heels. Hands reach to the front of the mat, forehead to the ground. Child's pose. Feeling a nice opening through the inner thighs, the hips here. Inhale, rolling forward. Shoulders stack over wrists, lowering your upper body down onto the mat. Hands under shoulders, toes untuck. Tops of the feet press into the mat. As we inhale, lift our heart off of the ground. Elbows into ribs, baby cobra. Exhale, forehead melts back down. Inhale, pushing the mat away from you. Elbows into ribs. And exhale, float back down. Let's go one more time. Forehead reaches back down onto the ground, pushing up through tabletop, hips sink back, child's pose. As we inhale, reaching forward, coming up through tabletop, into plank. Knees tap down onto the ground, sitting your sit bones back, child's pose on the exhale. On the inhale, beginning to lengthen the legs, coming up through downward facing dog, sit bones reach to the sky. On the inhale, continuing forward into high plank. Exhale, knees tap down, sitting back, child's pose. Inhale, rippling up through the spine, sit bones lift, rounding the spine forward into high plank. Our next spinal wave, option to tap the knees down or keep them to a hover as our hips sink back into a hovering child's pose. Inhale, rolling forward, high plank. One more time with your own cycle of breath. Connecting movement always with the breath. Taking the full breath to get where you're going. From high plank, reaching sit bones back up to the sky, downward facing dog. Taking a few movements here that might feel really good for you. Maybe walking your dog, pedaling it out. Maybe shifting the hips from side to side. Inhale, forward, high plank. Knees tap down, back into our tabletop. Right leg extends long. Option to lift the left hand out as well, balancing here in bird dog. On the exhale, elbow to knee, rounding the spine. Inhale, lengthen. As we exhale, left hand out to the left side, right leg out to the right in line with the shoulder and hip. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, elbow to knee into the midline. Inhale for length. Exhale, airplane turn. Hold here. Right foot steps down. Both arms reach to the sky on the inhale. Exhale, right hand down, right leg, left hand reaching over towards the right. Inhale, back to center. Left hand, left hip, right arm reaching in the opposite direction from the foot. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, both hands melt onto the mat, stepping back, tabletop. This time the left leg extends long, floating off of the mat, heel in line with hip, balancing here with the right arm extended. Exhale, elbow to knee, arching the spine. Inhale, find length. Exhale, airplane turn, palm facing down, left toes facing forward. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, elbow and knee in towards the midline, chin tucks to chest. Inhale for length. Exhale, airplane turn, hold here. Left foot steps down, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, left hand down, left leg, right arm reaches the opposite direction, lengthening through the right side body. Back to center, reaching over towards the right this time. Inhale. Exhale, both palms meet the mat, stepping back through tabletop, downward facing dog. Walking or stepping your feet forward to the top of your mat between your hands. Forward fold, allowing the crown of your head to reach to the ground. Micro bend in the knees. Inhale for length, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep to the sky, reverse swan dive. As palms meet overhead, gazing up, big toes touch. Interlacing fingers, pointer finger releases to the sky. Exhale, reaching over towards the right, left hip reaching over towards the left side wall. Crescent moon. Inhale, up 1 inch. And exhale, deepen, pressing down through the outer edge of the left foot. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands come down in line with shoulders, sinking our seat nice and low into chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. As we exhale, hands sweep back and behind, coming up onto our tippy toes here. Heels lift off of the mat. Inhale, arms lift, heels lower. And exhale, arms lower, heels lift. Balancing here. Inhale, keeping our heels lifted, arms extend towards the sky, standing tall. Heels lower, palms reach together. Inhale for length. Exhale, this time pointer fingers reach over towards the left side. Right hip reaching over towards the right side wall. Inhale, up 1 inch. And exhale, deepen. Inhale, coming back to center. As we exhale, arms sweep wide, swan dive down, crown towards the ground. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's lift one more time, halfway lift. Exhale, palms soften, stepping back, high plank. Knees tap down onto the mat, back into our tabletop position. Left foot, we're going to kickstand out off of our mat. Right leg extends long. Right hand reaches to the sky, opening our shoulders and our hips over towards the right side wall. Option to float that right foot off of the mat. Right hand reaching towards the front of the room. Exhale, elbow to knee, strong through the core. Inhale for length. Bending the floating foot, floating knee, right hand reaches back and behind. If you have the bind, kicking your floating foot away from you. Inhale for length, releasing the bind. Exhale, elbow to knee, strong through the core, hold here. Pivoting here, right foot steps forward, shoulders and hips squared towards the front of the room, adjusting our stance if we need to widen. Inhale, arms reach to the sky, low crescent lunge. Exhale, hands meet the mat, shifting hips back, right toes flex to the sky. Micro bend in the extended leg. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, begin to fold. Taking one more breath here, really feeling that nice hamstring stretch. Hands walk forward, lunging back into that right knee. Left hand roots, right hand reaches for the twist. Gazing towards the sky. Option to intensify by kicking the right foot off of the ground. Right hand reaching back and behind for the twist. Breathing deeply into that left quad. Release the bind. Both hands down. Hips sink back into our half splits, half monkey. Lunging back into that right knee. Left knee lifts off of the mat. Inhale. Arms reach to the sky. Anjaneyasana, high crescent lunge. Left hip shifts forward, right hip back slightly. Squaring the hips. On the exhale, left hand forward, right hand behind for the twist. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand behind. Staying here. Right hand down the back leg, left hand reaching towards the sky. Coming back to center, both arms extended in front of you, gazing towards the front of the room. Lunging into the left knee, stepping forward. Left knee in line with the hip. If you need to touch down, touch down. Bending into the right knee, left thigh wraps over the right. Toes may wrap behind the calf or touch onto the ground. Raveling the left arm underneath the right. Palms may press together or grasping opposite elbows. Bringing elbows and knees in closer towards the midline here in eagle pose. On the exhale, elbow to knee, strong through the core. Inhale for length. Exhale into baby eagle, chin tucks to chest, rounding the spine. Inhale to our tall, proud eagle here. Unraveling the arms, extending them overhead. Left knee lifts in line with the hip. Stepping both feet down right into our Utkatasana chair pose. Knees together, hips sink nice and low. Hands come to prayer. Crown towards the front of the room. Exhale, twist. Left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Gazing towards the sky. Pulling left hip back just ever so slightly. Option to spread your wings. Inhale, palms together. Exhale, twist. Palms come back together. Reaching towards the front of the room. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms soften, stepping back, high plank. Knees tap down, heart lowers all the way to the ground. Hands under shoulders, tops of the toes press into the mat. Inhale to your baby cobra. Exhale, melt back down. Pushing up through tabletop. Staying here. This time, the left leg is going to extend long, right leg out to the side. Left hand reaches to the sky, gazing towards your floating hand. Inhale, left hand reaches towards the front of the room, toes back and behind. Exhale, elbow to knee, strong through the core. Inhale for length. Bending the floating foot, left hand reaching back and behind. Kicking that heel towards the glute, gazing towards the sky. Release. Find length. Exhale, elbow to knee, hold here, strong through the core. Left foot steps forward, squaring hips and shoulders to the front of the room. Walking your knee back if you need to for the nice stretch through the front of the right hip. Inhale, arms reach towards the sky. On the exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. Hips shift back, left toes flex to the sky. Taking a few breaths here to really feel that nice stretch through the left hamstring. On the inhale, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Hands walk forward to frame the front foot. Right hand down, left hand reaches. Twisting through the torso. Option to intensify by picking up the back foot. Left hand reaching back and behind. Breathing deeply here. Release the bind. Left hand comes down. Shifting hips back into our last half splits here. Inhale forward, hands frame the front foot, back knee lifts. Inhale, arms reach towards the sky. Anjaneyasana, high crescent lunge. Squaring our hips one more time. Left hand behind, right arm forward. Inhale, back to center, nice and slow. Controlled movements. Inhale, left hand behind, right arm forward. Left hand down the back leg, right hand to the sky. Left hand comes forward to meet the right. Lunging into the back knee, stepping forward. Right knee in line with the hip. Left knee bends. Right thigh wraps over the left. Nice and slow. Right arm underneath the left. Eagle arm, eagle legs. Nice and strong here, nice and steady. Going for baby eagle if you want to on the exhale. Inhale for length. And exhale. Begin to fold. Inhale, lifting up, staying nice and tall. Unraveling the arms, unraveling the legs. Sinking back and down into chair pose with prayer hands. Opposite elbow, opposite thigh. Going for the twist. Option to spread your wings. I'm going the opposite way here. Opening up your heart towards the side wall. Gazing over the left shoulder, sinking hips down a little bit deeper. Option to spread your wings. Hands come back home. Unraveling. Crown towards the ground, lengthening the legs. Forward fold. Inhale for length. Exhale, fold, stepping back. High plank. Knees tap down. Option to lower all the way down or elbows into ribs, lowering down halfway chaturanga. Inhale. Hips stay on the mat for our full cobra. Gazing towards the sky. Exhale. Coming back through tabletop, downward facing dog. Taking a breath here, reconnecting with our body, with our rhythm. Walking or stepping your feet forward to the top of the mat between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms reach towards the sky. Standing tall. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Standing at the top of our mat, bringing a little bit more weight into the left foot. Right knee lifts in line with the hip. Rotating the right knee out to the side. Sole of the floating foot finds the standing leg. Woo. Here in our Vrikshasana tree pose. Standing leg strong. Floating foot, avoiding the knee joint. Option to stay here or to grow your branches. Maybe even finding some movement here. Left hand to the outside, the left thigh, right hand reaching over towards the left side wall. Opposite direction from the knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left hand, right thigh. Left hand reaching over towards the right, lengthening through the left side body. Bringing this crescent moon shape here, crescent moon shape into our tree pose. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands come home, right knee comes forward. We're gonna rotate our knee out towards the side, beginning to lower our upper body down in line with our extended leg. Hands reach back and behind. Warrior three. Heel in line with hip, hips in line with the crown of our head, engaging through our back body to stay strong here. Inhale, arms reach towards the front of the room, nice and slow, as if you're holding a beach ball above your head. Left knee bends, right foot steps back into our high crescent lunge. Taking a breath here, option to go for the back bend by reaching your thumbs towards the back wall, heart stays lifted, hips stay nice and low. Coming back through center, hands melt onto the mat, left foot steps back up towards the sky into our three-legged dog. Inhaling forward, left knee behind left elbow, strong through the core. Exhale, left knee behind right elbow, extending your leg long. Right hand reaches towards the sky, pivoting onto the inner edge of the back foot into our fallen triangle. If you want to intensify, begin to pick that left foot off of the mat, strong through the core. Left foot floats back down. Hips lower onto the ground. Adjusting our sit bones, gazing between the space between our feet. Left knee bends, sole of the foot to the inside of the extended leg. Right hand down, left hand reaches for the side stretch. Exhale, floating hand to the right foot. Whether you reach or not, that's fine. Just keeping the heart nice and open. Left hand sweeps back and behind on the inhale. Right hand reaching to the front wall. Pressing down through the left knee and left shin to lift your hips a little higher. Hip sink back down. Right forearm to the ground, the left hand towards the toes for the side stretch. Staying here, coming into joy pose one more time. Left hand back and behind. Right hand towards the front of the room. Breathing deeply into this heart opener. Hips come back down. Left leg extends long. Right hand to the sky, lifting right back into our fallen triangle. Right hand down onto the mat. Left leg sweeps back up towards the sky. Three-legged dog. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Back foot pivots out. Arms windmill up. Warrior two. Inhale, find length. And exhale, lunging into that left knee. Pressing down through the outer edge of the back foot. Left palm flips, right hand down, right leg. Dancing it back. Exalt your warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Left forearm, left thigh, right hand reaching towards the front of the room, palm to the ground. Extended side angle. Inhale back, warrior two. Hands come to heart center, lengthening through the left leg, lunging into that right knee, left toes reach towards the sky, into fan lunge. Inhale, back into warrior two. Left foot meets the mat, left palm dancing it back. Exalt your warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Left forearm, left thigh, extended side angle. Option this time to lift the left hand off of the thigh, really engaging through the core here. Once again, carrying that beach ball above your head. Inhale, warrior two. Let's hands come to heart center, lengthening through the front leg, lunging back into that fan lunge. Maybe the right hand meets the ground, left hand towards the sky. Inhale, back to our warrior two. Finding ourselves back in our warrior two, drishti gaze over the left middle finger, lengthening through the left leg, left hand reaching forward, hips reaching back and behind, windmill the arms. Right hand to the sky, gazing to the sky, twisting through the torso. Right hand, right hip. Gaze comes down in front of the left foot, heel toe back, foot in slightly. Left hand down onto the ground, picking up your back foot off of the mat. Maybe even floating the right hand to the sky. Opening the hips to the sidewall, heart to the sidewall. Maybe playing with your balance here by beginning to pick the left hand off of the mat into our Ardha Chandrasana half moon pose. Bending through the floating foot. Right hand reaching back and behind to our Ardha Chandrasana with the bind. Beginning to square heart and hips to the ground. Transitioning weight off of the left hand. Reaching towards the sky, coming to standing. Nice and slow and steady. Knees are in line, picking up the back foot with the inside. Picking up the back foot with the, picking up the back foot on the inside. On the inhale. Kicking that right knee back and behind, left hand still reaching towards the sky. The kick drives the pose here, heart stays nice and lifted. Finding your gaze on something steady and unmoving. Gently coming back to standing. Hands onto hips. Right leg extends long, toes flex to the sky. Engaging through the quadricep here, strong through the core. Right foot meets the left. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, bring them back down home. Transitioning the weight into the right foot this time. Picking up the left knee in line with the hip, rotating it out to the side. Floating foot to the inside of the standing leg. If you need to adjust using your hands, doing so, finding our nice, steady, strong tree pose here. Option to grow your branches and find that crescent moon shape. Right hand onto the hip or the outside of the thigh. Floating hand reaching in the opposite direction from the knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left hand down, lengthening through the right side body. Grounding down through the outer edge of the right foot. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands come back home. Right knee tracks, left knee tracks forward. And then rotating here. The left knee out to the side, back and behind, heel in line with the hip, allowing the upper body to Become parallel to the ground, to our mat. Hands sweep back and behind, palms to the ground. Warrior 3. Inhale, arms reach to the front of the room. So strong here. Lunging into the front knee, left foot steps back. Right into our high crescent lunge. Option for the back bend. Thumbs reaching back and behind, heart stays lifted. Coming back through center, hands sweep down. Right foot extends towards the sky this time. Three-legged dog. Inhaling forward. Right knee behind right wrist or right elbow. Exhale. Right knee to the opposite elbow. Extend the leg long. Rolling onto the inner edge of the back foot, left hand to the sky. Fallen triangle. Option to work with your core here by beginning to pick that right foot off of the ground. Lowering it back down and allowing your hips to meet the mat. Adjusting sit bones, toes flexed to the sky. Right foot to the inside of the left leg. Left hand or forearm to the ground. Right hand to the sky. Exhale. Fingertips float towards the toes for the side stretch. Right hand back and behind on the inhale. Pressing down through the knee and shin, lifting up. Joy pose. Sit bones lower. Left forearm down. Right hand reaches. Inhale, reaching back and behind. Lifting up a little higher through the hips if we can. Sit bones reach back down. Right leg extends long. Lifting back up into our fallen triangle. Left hand to the mat. Right leg towards the sky, three-legged dog. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Back foot pivots out. Arms windmill up. Lunging deeply into that right knee, tracking over toes, gazing over the right middle finger this time. Let's dance it back. Viparita Virabhadrasana. Inhale, warrior 2. Right forearm, right thigh, left hand towards the front of the room, palm facing down. Inhale back, warrior 2. Lengthening through the front leg, hands come to heart center, lunging into the left knee, right toes to the sky. Inhale, pushing back up through that left quad into our warrior 2. Let's dance it back. Right hand reaching towards the back wall. Nice side stretch through the right side body. Inhale, warrior 2. Right forearm, right thigh, left hand to the sky, towards the front of the room. Option to intensify by lifting that right hand off of the thigh. Strong through the core, gazing to the sky. Inhale back. Warrior 2. Coming down into our fan lunge one more time. Option this time to have the left hand reach the ground, right hand to the sky for the extra twist. Coming back up. Warrior 2. Straightening through the front leg, right hand reaching to the front of the room. Right hand to the inside of the shin, left hand to the sky. Twisting your torso, engaging through that left glute to keep your hips in line with the rest of your body. Lifting up a little bit more than we're reaching down here in Trikonasana. Left hand, left hip, gaze to the ground, heel toe back foot in, right hand onto the ground when you feel nice and stable and steady. Picking up that back, floating foot off of the mat, toes flexed to the left side wall. Right hand, left hand might reach to the sky. Maybe playing with your balance here by lifting the right hand off of the mat. And if you fall and need to readjust, that's fine too. So strong here, engaging through that left glute, lifting that leg a little higher. With or without your hand onto the mat, bending the floating knee. Left hand reaching back and behind, grasping the foot, and then turning your shoulders and hips to square towards the ground. Weight comes off of the right hand, nice and slowly coming to standing. Knees together in one line, right hand to the sky. Switching your grip to the inside of the left foot. Inhale, find length. Inhale, find length. And exhale, release. On the next inhale, kicking the left knee away from you. Heart stays nice and lifted. Right hand reaching towards the sky. Working on opening that left shoulder with the kick, but still squaring them towards the front of the room. Nice and steady, coming back to standing. Hands onto hips or heart center. Left knee in line with the hip, extending the leg long. Toes flex to the sky. So strong here through the left quad. Left foot steps down to meet the right. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms soften, stepping back, high plank. Knees tap down onto the mat. Heart lowers all the way to the ground or halfway through chaturanga. Inhale to your upward facing expression, whether that's cobra or baby cobra. Pushing back through tabletop, downward facing dog. Walk, stepping, jumping, traveling to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, bringing them back home, heart center. Continuing with our sun salutation, Surya Namaskar here. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, stepping back, high plank. Through knees or no knees, lowering down halfway, elbows into ribs, chaturanga. Inhale, rolling over the tops of the toes, gazing towards the sky, upward facing dog, cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, pushing back, downward facing dog. Walk, stepping or jumping to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift and fold. Arms sweep towards the sky, reverse swan dive. Exhale, coming back home through heart center. Let's go one more time. Arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, leading with the heart, forward fold. Halfway lift. Palms soften, stepping back through knees or no knees, lowering down halfway chaturanga. Inhale to your upward facing expression. Rolling over the toes. Back into our downward facing dog. Walk, stepping or jumping to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms sweep to the sky. And bring them back home. Walking your feet out slightly. Feet are out at 45-degree angles. Heels stay nice and rooted. Hips sink down nice and low into our Malasana Yoga squat. If your seat can't quite reach the ground, maybe using a block to help bring the ground closer to you. Heart stays nice and lifted. Nice straight spine. Option to stay in stillness or begin to flow. Right hand to the ground, left hand to the sky for the twist. Inhale, hands come to heart center. Exhale, left hand down, right hand reaches. Coming back home, maybe one more twist each side. Breathing deeply into each twist, feeling it. Hands come down onto the mat, hips sink, hips reach towards the sky, heel toe your feet in, allowing for this nice forward fold here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms soften, stepping back, high plank. Option to vinyasa here. Moving back in downward facing dog. Right leg reaches towards the sky. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Inhale. We're gonna pivot the back foot out in line with the short edge of your mat. Inhale, arms windmill up into our warrior two. Right forearm, right thigh, left hand reaching towards the front of the room. Option to go for the bind here. Right hand underneath the thigh, left hand back and behind. If your hands can clasp, allowing your left shoulder to open a little bit more towards the sky. You can stay here if you'd like, if you want to go for birds of paradise. Gazing towards the ground, heel toe, back foot in. Till you can step the left foot forward to meet the right. Nice and steady here through the left leg. Coming to standing with the right leg in a bind. When you feel nice and steady, beginning to extend the right leg. Right toes flex to the sky. So strong through that quadricep. Staying here if you'd like. Another option is to wrap the right thigh over the left. Right toes reaching behind the calf muscle or onto the ground for Baddha Garudasana, bound eagle pose. Whenever you're ready, right foot steps down, left foot steps back. Arms windmill up. Warrior two. Left hand reaching towards the front of the room, pivoting onto the back toes. Right hand reaching back and behind for the high crescent lunge twist. Left hand to the inside of the right foot. Right hand to the sky. Rolling onto the outer edge of the back foot, right foot's gonna step back into a stack or staggered side plank. Working on lifting your right hip up a little higher towards the sky, beginning to float the right foot off of the standing leg. Right knee reaching towards the sky, floating foot to the inside of the standing leg. Into our side plank with tree legs. Staying here, or if you wanna go somewhere else, right foot steps back and behind, right hand reaching towards the front of the room for wild thing. Lifting your heart a little bit higher towards the sky, hips lift up. Let's flip it back to our three-legged dog. Right leg reaching towards the sky. Inhale, rolling forward, right knee behind right wrist. Shin comes down on a parallel. Walking that left hip back slightly. Working on stacking shoulders over hips. Nice and tall here. Adjusting our weight evenly through the two hip bones. Shoulders roll away from ears. Fingertips on the mat, begin to lower on the exhale. And inhale, lifting the upper body. Exhale, begin to lower. And inhale, lift. Continuing with this flow motion here, if you want to find a few moments of stillness, maybe stacking fists or stacking palms, and allowing your forehead to find a little bit of ease here. Maybe a few moments of comfort, stillness. Remembering that even though we are constantly moving in our Vinyasa class, even in moments of stillness, we are always still flowing and moving with the breath. So allow the breath to carry you here today. Let's take one nice big inhale through the nose. And exhale, sighing out tension, maybe any negative feelings, allowing them to soften slightly. Palms press into the mat. Shifting weight onto the outside edge of the right hip. Left leg swings forward with or without the help of that left hand. Both legs extend long in front. Adjusting sit bones onto the mat. Lifting our feet off of the ground. Shins parallel to the mat. Arms can sweep towards the front of the room. Heart stays nice and lifted. On the exhale, begin to lower down, straightening through the legs, coming down to a hover, and lifting back up. This time we will lower down, keeping our knees bent, soles meet the mat. Upper body finds the ground. Adjusting stance here slightly. Feet walk in towards the hip, towards the sit bones. Palms down onto the mat. Shoulders away from ears. Beginning to ravel the spine off of the mat. Pretending like we're squeezing a block between the thighs, having that inner thigh engagement. Maybe even walking your hands underneath you, allowing the shoulder blades to come underneath the body. With this fist that you've created, allowing your hips to reach up a little higher. Hands release from underneath you. Spine one vertebrae at a time. Hugging knees up into your chest. Maybe gently massaging from side to side, the low spine. Beginning to rock forward and back. Gaining some momentum here. Till we hands come onto the mat, stepping back or hopping back into our downward facing dog. Maybe throwing a vinyasa in there along the way. Everybody meeting back in downward facing dog. Left leg extends towards the sky, three-legged dog, hips and shoulders squared to the ground. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Back foot pivots out, arms windmill up. into our warrior two. Left forearm, left thigh, right hand towards the front of the room, extended side angle. We know where we're going this time. Left hand underneath the thigh, right hand back and behind, gazing towards the sky. If you have the bind, pulling that right shoulder a little bit more open. If you want to go for birds of paradise, gazing to the ground. Heel toe, back foot in. Right foot steps forward. Adjusting that bind, that grip if you need to. Right leg nice and strong, coming to standing. Shoulder stack over hips. Left leg extends towards the sky. Toes are flexed. Nice and strong. Option to go for that bind here. Left thigh wraps over the right. Left toes behind the standing leg. Maybe tapping down onto the ground, heart open to the right side wall. Whenever you are ready, left foot steps down, right foot steps back. Arms windmill up. Warrior two. Right hand forward, coming up high onto the right toes. Hips and heart squared forward. Left hand back and behind for the twist. Right hand to the inside of the bent knee. Left hand to the sky. Rooting down through that right palm, rolling onto the outer edge of the back foot, stepping that left foot back. Either stack or stagger here into side plank, lifting hips up a little higher. And then whenever you feel ready, floating that left foot off of the standing leg, left knee towards the sky. So the floating foot to the inside of the standing leg, maybe to the space in front of you if that feels better. Left foot steps back and behind, lifting our hips to the sky, heart open. Sole of the right foot pressing down into the ground to lift the hips a little higher into our wild thing. Flipping back to our three-legged dog. Left hand meets the ground, left foot to the sky. Inhale, rolling forward, high plank, left knee behind the wrist, shin comes down on a parallel. Sorry, not quite parallel, maybe 45-degree angle. Walking that right hip back slightly. Adjusting our weight, nice even distribution. Fingertips onto the mat, beginning to fold forward over that shin. Lifting back up, lengthening the spine, and folding back down. Taking this nice and slow. The next time that you come down, you might want to find stillness. Maybe stacking fists or palms. Taking a few nice deep breaths and sending all that love and goodness, all that pranayama energy to that left hip. Helping it release tension and relax a little bit. Remembering that our hips are not symmetrical, they're not identical, just like the rest of our body. Our anatomy is not completely symmetrical. So that makes sense that the poses, the feelings, the sensations in our body might not quite look or feel the same. So this hip might feel different. And whatever that is, that's okay. Palms pressing into the mat when you are ready, beginning to lift up, nice and tall. Rolling onto the outer edge of the left hip, right leg sweeps forward with or without the help of your hand. Both legs extend long. Bending your knees, lifting your shins parallel to the mat. Arms reach towards the front of the room. Option to extend your legs if you can. Engaging through the core. So strong here. Beginning to bend the knees, lowering the soles of the feet onto the mat, upper body back down onto the ground. Readjusting our stance here. The same one we found for bridge. So there is option, yogi's choice here. If you want to go for a second set of bridge, going for it. Another option is wheel pose. Feet are in the same position. Hands come up behind the shoulders, framing the ears, elbows reach to the sky. Lifting hips off of the mat, coming to the top of the head, and when you are ready, lengthening the arms, lifting your heart towards the sky, hips lift up a little higher. Working on reaching your heart towards the back wall. Whenever you're ready, coming out the same way that you came in, laying down forward, one vertebrae at a time. Hugging your thighs into your chest. Nice little gentle hug here. Maybe rocking from side to side feels good. Extending left leg long, right thigh into the body, hands onto shins. Tracking right knee towards right shoulder. Left toes are flexed to the sky. Maybe movement feels good here, beginning to rotate the right knee in towards the midline and then out towards the side. Bringing the left hand on top of the right shin, right hand out to the side, allowing the right knee to fall open towards the left side, maybe off of the mat. Cervical spine might want to join in the twist by gazing over towards the right fingertips, rooting down through that right shoulder. As we begin to slow down our practice, allowing your breath to become natural and full of ease. Bringing right knee back into the center. Left knee bends, coming up to join, meeting the right. Might feel good to grasp opposite elbows here, allowing the thighs to hug in a little closer, pressing that low spine down towards the mat. Here in double wind relieving pose. Releasing the elbows, hands onto the left shin, right leg extends long, toes flex to the sky. Bringing that thigh just to the outside edge of the ribs, left knee towards the shoulder. Wind relieving pose on the left side, massaging the descending colon. Maybe movement feels good here, rolling the knee in closer towards the midline and then out towards the side. Right hand onto the left shin, left hand out to the side. Working on bringing that left knee over towards the side, off of the mat. It doesn't have to touch. Cervical spine might come into the pose by gazing over towards the left fingertips. Gazing back towards the sky, left knee coming back towards the midline, right knee joins. Both legs extend towards the sky. Toes are flexed as if you're standing on the wall, standing on the ceiling. Bending the knees, hands can grasp the outer edges of the feet or the peace fingers can grasp the big toes. Working on bringing the knees to the outer edges of the ribs. Spine stays nice and long, back of the head rested onto the mat, into our happy baby pose here. Once again, option for stillness or movement. Rocking from side to side, maybe lengthening one leg and then the other. Feeling that nice opening through the groin, through the inner thighs, maybe even the hips. Knees come back in together. One more nice big hug. Extending your legs long. Arms come out wide. Bending, stacking the elbows. Hands reach opposite shoulders, giving yourself a nice little hug here. Opening through the shoulders. It might even feel good just having the sensation of a hug. Giving yourself a nice little bit of self-love here. At the end of our practice, hopefully you found self-love along the way. Switching here, arms come out wide. Opposite elbow's gonna come underneath Releasing the hug. Hands come down by your sides. If your body is craving a pose that it did not get during practice, taking the next few moments to find that sensation, create that movement, give your body what it is asking for. Otherwise, settling into your final pose, whether that is Shavasana or easy seated. Perhaps allowing the eyes to close. Hands fall down by your sides, shoulders melt away from ears. A slight smile to the face to relieve any tension. Allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm, no forcing. And then doing a little check-in with your body, with your mind, your spirit, just like we did at the beginning of practice, noticing if anything is coming up for you, if anything has changed. Taking these next few moments to soak up all the goodness of the practice, of all the work that we have done, knowing that you are worthy of this time and space that you just gave yourself. Ending our practice here today exactly where we are. If you want to stay for any longer, feeling free to do so. Bringing your hands to heart center. If you are lying down or seated, wherever you are, you can stay in stillness. Bowing to yourself for showing up today, for all the good hard work that you put in. Namaste.